You know, there has to be something to it if they'd shut down a whole film production for it. Don't you think? If a creature could do that with trees and branches and limbs and stuff like that, imagine what it could do to your body.
Hello everybody and welcome to Gene's Reviews from a regular dude, where I do trailer reactions, I react to YouTube videos, I review YouTube channels, occasionally I'll review a movie, but really, I just do whatever the hell I want.
Hello everybody and welcome to Gene's Reviews from a regular dude. Got one today from a channel called Sylvanic Bigfoot. It says Bigfoot Terrorizes feature film crew, Sasquatch out of control. Sounds pretty cool, but before we get going with that, if you'd like to support the channel, check out my Teespring store in the description. I have t-shirts, hoodies, tote bags, coffee cups, all kinds of stuff. It's not required, but you know what? It's really appreciated. So let's check this out. Bigfoot Terrorizes feature film crew, Sasquatch out of control.
Hey everybody, I'm Todd Stanley. Thanks for tuning in to my show today. I'm going to totally blow your mind today with something that I just can't even believe happened. The BC Film Commission had a major film production, a major feature film, stopped filming. If you know about British Columbia is Hollywood North. Vancouver, they film X-Men there, they film Planet of the Apes, they film major productions in British Columbia, and the British Columbia Film Board wouldn't allow people to shoot in a particular area called the Bugaboos because Sasquatch are there, and the Sasquatch intimidated and did so much damage to a major Hollywood production that they left. So I went and started to investigate this area. I'll tell you the whole thing after. First, we're going to look at tracks, some structures. After some women had a really cool encounter, they called me up, and I went out there and started investigating it, got mind blown by all the structures and tracks and breaks and all the evidence of Sasquatch. And then the BC Film Commission capped it all off, and I'll tell you all about it right after going through this evidence. So enjoy this video. It's going to be a fun one today. Stay tuned.
You know, there has to be something to it if they'd shut down a whole film production for it. Don't you think?
For the past 10 years, I've been conducting expeditions, documenting chronicles, and interviewing people pertaining to the subject of Sasquatch.
That
With over
wasn't
20
real.
years worth of hardcore backcountry expedition experience into the most remote regions, I've tracked and studied various North American species that have had little to no exposure to civilization.
I've been able to see for the first time some complete segments of Todd Standing's filming of Sasquatches, and I'm firmly convinced that he has filmed Sasquatches and that what he has portrayed in his documentary are indeed
I've seen that picture
very
a lot.
close portraits, in fact, of the Sasquatch face.
So I'm maybe a kilometer in, and I noticed this incredible piling of trees about 30 yards from the trail. And I'm looking at these trees.
Why are they
About,
set up that way?
80% of them, maybe excluding this one here, which is a break. Maybe excluding this one here, that's a break. Looks like a huge break. And I've seen 10 of these breaks. What I'm seeing here is what I would consider to be impossibly natural. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's about 12 of these trees that are not from here. They've been dragged over here.
Yeah.
There's no way they fell from any place. So
They're just kind
this is a
of
really intricate structure with multiple breaks in it. There's also the possibility, what I'm seeing too, is there's many of these trees have fallen down. I can see trees that were dragged here that have no roots, that have really fallen down, which, you know, also indicates that this was a structure.
a human wouldn't be strong enough to drag them, in my opinion.
It was pretty magnificent at one point, and then weather happens and it falls apart. But I'm quite impressed with this. I'm seeing some Some interesting bends. See that? There's a bent branch over there, or a bent tree.
Yeah.
And then just even off of this break here, I mean, that can randomly happen. I've seen tonight or today, this is the 5th tree that I've seen that's of that size and broken. This one's not pointed in any specific direction, but there's also stuff going on here that I do not comprehend. I've never seen structures built off of breaks like I did today. So this is also a little odd. This is one of the dozens and dozens of breaks that we've seen.
It looks to me like they were
area.
trying to build a cover
They're
or
all
something
pointing
and
east
got
or west.
spooked and ran off.
Precisely. In and towards the trails. We're gonna go look at another one. This is, I mean, and this is not terribly close to the trail. It's about 30 yards from it, but it's
like he
looks
said,
exactly like a tree break, like I've
there's
seen
no
so many times
roots,
before.
so they had to be dragged there.
So more corroboration. I'm gonna walk up this trail a little further. Look at this. Look at these 2 trees. This does not happen in nature. I have 12 trees with no conceivable roots that have clearly been dragged into this area. And this area stands out to me like a sore thumb. I bet when it was built, even look at this, for God's sake. Look at this.
Yeah.
I mean, this is crazy. This is just not natural. There's no way this happened naturally. You can't.
No, and a
Really, look at
person
this. Look,
couldn't
these
be
two-
strong enough to,
These 2
to
right
drag
here,
them.
look at this. They have no roots whatsoever.
Todd,
Yes.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I think there's a massive footprint right
Okay, we'll come look at that in a second. I mean, just somebody came in here and went nuts and played and played and played. Look at this structure. Oops. Look, everything's intertwined. It's amazing. And look again, look. No bloody root there. That tree has no root. It came from nowhere. This tree was jammed in there with all these other trees. Look at this one, bent, twisted around. Totally amazing. And again, it's bent. This tree is bent from this tree, which has no root, which was dragged there when you follow it down. So, and now here's another one too. Look at this. This tree has no root again, and this tree is bent. Look at the bend in that. Wow. So
That's crazy.
crazy. Totally crazy stuff. And again, you have to take into account that this is probably all fallen down. When this was fresh and built, this is crazy power. Like amazing power to come in and jam these logs, twist and bend all these things. This is really impressive. With the tree breaks.
If a creature could do that with trees and branches and limbs and stuff like that, imagine what it could do to your body.
I'm at a point now, understand, where I just came in here. I just saw 4 exceptional, amazing tree breaks from a big, heavy Sasquatch that indicates to me a big dominant male. They've shown me the pictures of the tracks I haven't seen yet, and I'm still here looking at the structure. I got to get into this place. This is going to be amazing. This could be. This feels like the biggest find of my career. 45 minutes from my house.
Wow.
And here, as I stand beside broken log number 181920, is what I would consider to be the smoking gun. A 14-inch Sasquatch track, about a year old, maybe 2. Right there. Clear, clear, clear Sasquatch track. So, from here to here, I agree it's 14 inches. The width of it is about 4 inches. And look at that. You can see the toes in there. So just to get you the perspective, so I'm gonna take this out now.
Need to make a mold
So
of
here we've got
that.
the toes across the top and right down and around. And
Clear
down
that
around
other
the
stuff
bottom of the
out and
heel
make a mold of
across.
it.
Really nice indentation. Look at the moss, the way it separates in. That's broken moss and damaged. That's from a heavy footprint. to have lasted that length of time. And you can see by the debris that's fallen into it. This is new debris. This is old debris. So this stick is new debris in there. It would have broken if it would have been involved in the track. So it's new debris. So an older track. It could, could have very well been this 14-incher that built this structure. So Sasquatch track.
Makes sense. Probably was.
Sasquatch structure. Welcome to my new Bigfoot habitat. Let's go cast a track. Oh, we're not done.
Cool.
This huge mess of trees over here is what brought me over and attracted me to this area. Something I didn't see, because you can't see it from the trail, is, oh, look at this. I see 4, 5, 6 trees again that have been dragged over. And most importantly, this is now a freaking shelter.
Yeah.
This isn't even a structure anymore. Forget about structures. This is a shelter. Branches have been dragged into there. This is... And look, right here, again, you can't see this when you walk past it because it's covered up. Like the trail is over, on this side, so you can't see it from the other side. But I'll do a quick little pan. Look at that.
And they probably
So,
just
there's our
abandoned it
structure.
because somebody
Right
like
in here
him
was our track.
came through.
14-inch track structure. And again, I'll just pan real nice. That does not happen natural. There's another Sasquatch track. Look at the toes.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a small one. Now what's really nice is, so here's my foot beside this Sasquatch foot. So mine's about a 12-inch. This track is smaller than me. So now what we're seeing is, let's put the tape measure on there, please.
Is the perspective since I'm in here? Can you do this now?
No, just give me
That's
1 second, please.
Baby Sasquatch.
So what's that length? That's 10-inch. So now we've got a 10-inch. Pull that away, please. Now I've got a 10-inch. Look at the toes on that. Now I have a 10-inch track that's right beside this shelter. So now I have a 14-inch track and a 10-inch track. Look at this structure. This is this is the bottom. There's the bottom. Or that's, sorry. This is the top of a tree.
What's that?
Here's my lovely assistant in the structure.
That
Holy
spooked me.
crap. Holy crap. Look at this structure. Wow. That is intricate and amazing.
A lot of room in here.
We're gonna have to scour this thing for hairs. I mean, this is built. I can see weavings of, the trees are weaved in here. Holy crap. Do you see any hairs at all? Interesting to note that there's what looks like a break.
Could it be just nature that did that? I don't... I'm not so sure.
It's built into this. Look at this intricacy. Holy cow. Smart. Really smart. Wow. Again, see, look. No root, right? Look. No root. It's like 10 of these have no roots.
Yeah, they just busted them off and drug them over there.
And if these were all, might not look like much of a structure right now, but if there were pine needles on all this a couple years ago, this would have been a really nice viable structure. We're back at this structure that we've noticed before because it's just this one behind me. It looks like it was an actual shelter. And if I'm not mistaken, there's a possibility that it looks like they've added more to this. But what's crazy, and I love my smoking guns, I love my absolute, there's no way that this could happen naturally, and we found that. So this tree was broken, in an odd direction, which is, maybe that could happen naturally. But when you follow it in, look at that. And it's twisted into the structure. Yeah. So this is broken and twisted, like it would break this way, and that's fine. It didn't do that. It broke this way and then was twisted around and bent into the structure that's just full of trees that have no base. Look at this. No base.
I really can't see how any of that happened naturally. Let me know in the comments down below what you think, but I think this is pretty good evidence.
I mean, this is weaved in. no base. Right? You look at this one right here. Look at this one. No base. But that is smoking gun. I've actually never seen that before. Where, I mean, this is a large tree too. Look at that. It's about a 4-inch diameter.
Snap down and then twist it around. Wow.
And that's the second break on it. The first break is down here. And our Miss Kaylee has spent, actually, she has a tremendous amount of wilderness experience. Tell us about why you have outdoor experience.
Well, I have at this point 10 seasons of spring, summer tree planting. So I've been out in the woods in various locations all across Alberta and BC, both north and south, spending 8-9 hours a day for 3 months straight in the woods, camping in the woods, some pretty extreme locations only accessible by helicopter. But I haven't seen any structures like this before. This one actually caught my eye, having no background in any kind of structure building of primates whatsoever.
It's just more corroboration. You're building up evidence. I've seen 2 tracks out here that there's no arguing. Those are 2 tracks already. 2 more tracks coming up, at least, maybe 3, 4 more. Structures, breaks, and then the girls having an encounter. All these things are adding up to evidence, piece by piece. It's how they build cases in courts of law. It's how they accrue enough evidence to prove a species exists, and that's what we're doing. Is taking it step by step, working with these structures, trying to understand what's going on, and analyzing. So, man, we can recognize the girls from watching me and learning what I've done over the years came in here and recognized this is a Sasquatch habitat, and they reacted appropriately and started whooping, and they got their responses. So it's also having the knowledge and know how to recognize things and respond and act in an appropriate manner to encourage a result of proof that this hominid species is in a particular area, which is what they've done very successfully and what I'm here to substantiate, which I'm impressed beyond words.
This guy's really good. He's really going into depth with it, and sounds to me like he takes it real serious and he knows what he's talking about.
So this is, what is that? We're looking at 10 inches. Mm-hmm. So a 10-inch track.
Smaller than my foot.
There's the toes in the top. Heel busted out on the bottom. Quite wide. Quite profound. And it's in this wilderness. Upon even further investigation, what's impressive too is the birch tree that you can see here. Look at how, so this piece here was bent and twisted, and look at it, it's pushed under the birch tree. I gotta get an angle because it's so hard to see this, but I have to kind of break this up a bit. Hope it doesn't upset the Sasquatch. But now you can see the birch tree is woven.
To me, it's not under the birch tree. The birch tree's over top of it. I think the other tree was there first and the birch tree was there second. What do you think? Holy shit, Gene. What you just said makes absolutely no sense.
Look at the bend on that birch tree. And remember,
of course, if the other tree is under the birch tree, the birch tree's over top of it. Duh!
There's the birch tree, look. There's the birch tree. So it's, this other tree here, this tree is the one that's bent and twisted and shoved under that birch tree. And then the birch tree is under this tree. This is some pretty intricate weaving. Like, this is really, I would challenge anybody to CSI this and try to show me how this couldn't happen naturally. The only way this could happen is a primate could do this. A bear, I mean, ridiculous to even assume nothing. A gorilla could come and do this. I haven't studied gorillas. I haven't studied gorillas in the wild, but...
Do they have gorillas in Canada?
This is just totally amazing to me. It blows my mind. It's incredibly cool. All the twists and turns and the weaving that it took to make this. And not only a primate, because human beings are primates and human beings could potentially do this, but I'm seeing ridiculous primate power.
It would take some strength, man.
That birch tree is woven in there, and this break is impressive. The bust and twist off of a branch that's off of a tree that's 4 inches yards in diameter. I'm just impressed. And all these, even all these pine boughs that are in here.
Where did they come from?
You know, and I could see on the pine boughs they're all busted and shoved in there. They didn't. Where did all they? And there's a lot of them. Look at all the pine boughs all through here. It's just impressive. And when you get into it, here, now look, it's like a little sheltered spot. Now, of course, the first thing you're going to think is, oh, why aren't you in there getting hares? Well, yeah, that's reasonable. It's just, how many years old is this? How many layers of leaves do I have to go through? And we will, and we're going to do that, and we'll have a, but it's, you know, it's a lot of work.
With all the other debris and everything around there, and the leaves and stuff, it would be so hard to gather up hair.
And are the hares going to be viable sources of DNA? How many seasons have they been here? How many winters have they weathered? So, but obviously I'm going to have to make a point of it.
But you're
not today, but on another day, and just dig.
He said he's there 2 weeks later, and they've added to it. So maybe he could get some DNA out of it
through that, because I'm just so impressed with this. I don't see why a primate would go through all this trouble and then not at least sleep in it one day. You know, you make a fort, you're a kid, and we're not seeing the 17-inch track out here. We're seeing the 14-inch track, or less. I think we even saw an 11-inch track, or 12-inch track. We saw a 12-inch track and a 14, and a 12-inch track is a young guy. The 17-inch track is the big guy, and I'm not seeing any of these tracks around here at all. So you just like play tree forts when you're bored. Let's go show our primate strength.
I wonder how big Shaq's foot is. Mine's like 11.5, 12. So I'm only 5'8".
The twisted tree break is just something very strange to me. I've never, as it's incorporated into the structure, I've never seen anything like that. Like, that couldn't have just happened by itself.
You ever tried breaking trees or working with wood?
Definitely. A lot of breaking trees, sawing through them while I was pine cone picking and tree planting, making my way through some pretty gnarly blocks. But it would take a lot of power to break something that size.
Well, not just break it, but break it, twist it, and
Incorporate it underneath that birch tree. And the fact that there are so many smaller branches worked into the structure, it's clearly was made to be a shelter by something.
Okay, so what you just saw was me going through, this is a few years ago. This is right when I was in between filming the 2 Survivor Man Bigfoots. I had this area called the Bugaboos, and even the name the Bugaboos. Let me tell you about that. So the native people call the area Don't Go There. This is where I first learned that term, Don't Go There. And the Scottish people named it Bugaboo, which translated, I've heard various different translations. It's Celtic, it's Scottish, because the Scottish people are the ones that settled there in the last 100 years or so, and they called it Bugaboo because they mean there's a big, hairy, scary creature running around the bush. Because the native people wouldn't name it. They just called it Don't Go There, which you can't name a place that. So I went there, or I was called to go there, didn't know about the Bugaboo term yet, so went out there, started investigating because these people had told me about an incredible encounter they'd had there. So I saw all the evidence you just saw. So I went and, so when I was filming with Survivor Man Bigfoot, I was using it as an alternative location. So we called the BC Film Commission, and this wonderful little lady, older lady who's been at the Film Commission for decades, I think, says she wouldn't let us film there. So we kept grinding on her, you know, why can't we film there? She says, well, another production filmed there, it didn't go so well. So then she said, what's it for? And I told her it was for an episode of Survivor Man Bigfoot. She went, this is the BC Film Commission. The film commissioner said, oh, you should definitely go there then. And we went, what do you mean? She goes, because there's Bigfoot there. And she told us about the movie called Alive. There's a movie that was very popular back in I can't remember the exact year, but it was filmed by a major director who works with Tom Cruise and Steven Spielberg. It's a Frank Marshall production, if I'm not mistaken. And he filmed this major picture. They came out to this area in Canada, in British Columbia, because it looks just like the spires where the plane crashed and people had to eat other people to survive.
Right, I saw that movie.
And they couldn't finish the movie there because the Sasquatch were scaring the hell out of the crew and everybody. Can you believe that? So that's what the film commission told me. I met the film commissioner in person and talked to her about it. She was all, oh, absolutely. Oh, yes, that's absolutely true. The police came in there and wildlife officers came in there, and the Sasquatch were just so angry they had to leave and go to France to finish the film and spend millions of dollars.
Wow.
Because of Sasquatch. I would love to talk to Frank Marshall or somebody from that movie. But anyways, that's how I figured all this out, and what a hell of a story. It's not public at all. Nobody talks about this. I mean,
never heard it.
This is a big deal.
I remember the movie
all the time, and it just gets brushed under the rugs, and I'm astounded by this. I want to talk to the wildlife officers, the police that were out there protecting equipment when Sasquatch was smashing things and scaring a crew. What do you say? Like, how embedded into our culture is the reality of this species, and nobody's talking about it. So, pretty outstanding, amazing stuff. You can look up the bugaboos online. It's close to where I live. You know, it's a wonderful research area, but the Sasquatch are very angry there, and that's what I learned, and I just went back to radium. So, and I stick with radium because I have so much success there. But anyhow.
Sounds to me like they just want to be left alone. I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of all that. I thought that was really interesting. It made a lot of sense to me. All right. Now it's time for the joke of the day. I want you guys all to know that I believe in you. Don't get too excited though, because I also believe in Bigfoot. Thank you, everybody. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hashtag Mean Gene, all that fun stuff. And if you like this video, tell all your friends, leave a comment down below. And if you didn't like it, then just shut up. And I will see you next time.